can be a truly inspiring place.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Especially when it really means something to those who own it.
Wow! It's incredible! So I'm travelling the country. Hello! Surprising exceptional people. To give them their dream garden.
This week, I meet a remarkable young man.
Nice to see you. I wasn't expecting this on a Wednesday afternoon.
Who refuses to let cancer defeat him.
He's the most upbeat boy you'll ever meet. He's so positive.
But as he and his family have battled the disease,
you know, he's living in constant pain at the moment. I'm so proud of him.
His garden has fallen by the wayside. So inspired by his remarkable story, we're going all out.
A swinging daybed.
To create our most ambitious garden yet.
It's not level.
No, it's the nose.
And give this family a perfect spot.
I'm at the bar.
To bring them together in their hour of need.
Open your eyes. Oh my God, that is absolutely amazing.
Welcome to Love Your Garden. This week I'm in the small village of Duntish in beautiful rural Dorset. But it's not the idyllic countryside I've come to see today.
I'm here to meet a young family. Andrew, Rachel, and 2-year-old Lucas.
Andrew Drake and Rachel Sowerby both grew up a stone's throw away from one another and have lived in Dorset all their lives. They fell in love in 2008. But just 1 year into their relationship, Andrew discovered he had bowel cancer. He was just 24 years old.
I was with Andrew when he was diagnosed, and we just couldn't really believe it. 24-year-old boy, absolutely invincible. They don't think there can be anything like a cancer or a disease that would stop them.
The doctors started chemotherapy almost immediately.
Typical Andy was, it ain't killed me, I'm going to fight it. And I'm not going to let it beat me.
Surgeons removed Andrew's colon, and the signs were good. He and Rachel even got engaged. But in 2012 the cancer returned, so their plans were put on hold. Undaunted, Andrew posted on Facebook, "Round 2 of cancer, bring it on." But it was then that he and Rachel received the most unexpected news. At a time when they were told they couldn't have children, Rachel discovered she was pregnant, and baby Lucas was born in April 2013.
Lucas has been a focus for Andrew. To stay positive, you know, I need to get over this, or I need to do as much as I can for my son. The joy of having Lucas keeps him going.
But Andrew's battle with cancer wasn't over. Despite treatment and several operations, the disease has returned. Last September, he was told his condition is terminal.
The cancer came back, and they can't do anything for him. So he's just living his life as much as he can until the inevitable happens.
But where others might be defeated, for the sake of his family, Andrew refuses to give in to his illness.
The attitude that he has just is amazing. It's not his fault. He didn't cause this. We've got to get on.
Despite being in pain, he's determined to live as normal a life as possible.
He's the most upbeat boy you'll ever meet, because he's so positive about everything all the time. Yeah.
Just before he was first diagnosed, Andrew and Rachel moved in together, and Andrew had big plans for their garden. But over the years, as the disease has taken hold, every project he's attempted has had to be abandoned. So his family have asked me to step in.
A garden will give Andy a great big smile on his face. Something he deserves for the good that he's given everybody else.
And I'm here to surprise them with what I hope will be good news. Hello.
Hello! Oh my god!
You must be Rachel.
I am Rachel, hello!
Oh, I love it when pretty ladies come to the door and give me a kiss. Hello.
How are you?
Andrew, how are you?
Very nice to meet you, Mr.
Nice to see
I
you.
wasn't expecting this on a Wednesday afternoon.
I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, nice. It's brilliant.
We thought it might be a nice surprise.
That's an
Thank
amazing
you.
surprise.
Cup tea?
Was it a lovely man? Come on, here we
Come on
go.
in.
And this must be Lucas. Hello. You excited as well? Yeah. Okay, see you in a minute. Out this way?
Yeah.
So you're straight. Gosh, what a large lump of ground.
Yeah, he's a
What a lot of
first
buildings. Oh, you want to go with your tractor then, Lucas? Off you go. Because it must be quite difficult to let Lucas out at the moment with all the things that are in here.
So yeah, you literally have to follow him round every second. You can't just let him get on with what he wants. Obviously piles of bricks and anything he can fall off, and it's just not safe for him.
Mobility's obviously going to be a problem for you out here.
Eventually, my right leg is going to get a lot worse, just because of the sheer damage that's been done to it in the last 3 operations, like so. And well, yeah, I mean, lots of steps won't be very handy.
What's vital here then? What do you want to stay? Let's start with that.
I need a shed.
Boy stuff.
Yeah,
Workshop.
yeah, decent sized shed, like a barbecue area.
Racetrack for Lucas, or he'll get very fed up.
Proper racetrack, and that's me happy.
What would you say if I said, I'll bring a group of mates around here, and we'll have a go, and we'll give you the garden of your dreams?
It would be amazing just to be able to look out your windows and just be like, oh, it's a perfect garden.
Somewhere to make lots of nice memories.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah, it would be absolutely superb. Absolutely superb.
It's clear that what works for Rachel and Lucas works for Andrew. But I think this garden can be somewhere special for all the family. Transforming it won't be easy though, so I'm packing them off for a few days until it's done.
Thanks very much. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Gosh, doesn't it make you determined to do a good job? The difference this garden could make to their lives is just immeasurable. We've got a big job to do. But before we even get a chance to start, there's a development. Due to his weak condition, Andrew's been diagnosed with pneumonia and kidney failure and has been moved into a local hospice to recover. It's a stark reminder of just how precarious his situation is. So we need to get to work. This is a huge space, so filling it with the features you'd find in an ordinary garden wouldn't be right. I want it to reflect the dramatic countryside that surrounds it. So while the boys get to work, I've headed east to see a garden that has the sort of look I think Andrew and Rachel might like. When you're walking in the New Forest in Hampshire and you come across a pretty little country cottage like this, you'd expect to find behind it a classic English cottage garden, wouldn't you? But you'd be wrong, partner. This garden has taken a walk on the wild side. The style of planting in this garden is more Wyoming than Weymouth, majoring on grasses and perennials. This is prairie planting and takes its cue from the plains of the American West. Cascades of grasses are planted in swathes alongside verbena, Veronicastrum and Echinacea to create wild and natural-looking drifts. Andrew and Rachel's garden backs onto farmers' fields, so this type of planting would suit them just fine. But I'm not just here for the plants. Rachel wants to make new memories in the garden, and a large seating area like this, with an outdoor fire, would mean they can be surrounded by family and friends. As he copes with the effects of his treatment, I think Andrew needs somewhere just for him. Somewhere like this, maybe. Who says that seating in a garden has got to be upright? Sometimes you just want to get horizontal. You know what I mean? The whole essence of this garden, and the reason why it really works, is that it's in tune with its surroundings, and that's something I want to create for the Drakes. I've just got to get back now and enthuse the gang. Back in Duntish, my trusty posse of Francis Tophill, David Dominy and Katie Rushworth have arrived to help. It's got a lot to do, this garden. You know, Andrew's very ill, and the time that this family has left together, I want to be the happiest time with the richest memories. And this has got to fulfil that for them. The clues are everywhere as to what Andrew loves, which is wood. So with all these things in mind, I've just been seeing the most amazing garden where there's lots of prairie planting. So I'm thinking here, wood, country, frontier.
Like
Cowboy. Well, not kind of yee-haw, but sort of that sort of feel.
Okay.
A bit ranch-like.
Oh,
ranch and rustic. One thing is very important, that's easy access. These steps here, David, have got to go.
Yeah.
So if you can make the access to the garden much easier.
And are you looking for that right the way up to the top of the garden as
Yeah.
well? So it's one big pathway.
Yeah, and some sort
Yeah.
of snaky thing. I don't want straight lines in here. And also, Lucas needs a dedicated play area.
Oh, can I do the play area then?
You're good at playing. Francis, we have never done a bar.
Brilliant.
But thinking in terms of frontier, want a bit sort of slightly ranchy style bar.
Okay, I can do that.
Have you got experience in that direction?
I used to be a barmaid. Yes, not the best one.
Skilled.
So the bar area and somewhere for relaxation. I want them both to be able to relax in the garden. When he's had a pint, you know. Now, Katie,
Yes.
you see this dirty great shed here?
Yes.
It's not very pretty, is it?
No.
Can you make that prettier? And in fact, as well as that shed, if you could take the entire left-hand side of the garden up there, thinking prairie,
The whole
and thinking
left-hand
shed, yeah, you
That's
look
as
better. Prairie
big as
planting.
most of the gardens that we've actually done.
Yeah, but you see,
Come and have a beer if you get tired halfway.
Yeah, that's it. We have a play in the play area.
so while you're doing what you're doing, I'm going to concentrate somewhere around the centre there on doing them an area where they can. I'm sort of thinking campfire. I just want that sort of. You've got real relaxation. I've got sociability. So it's not much to do. It's only about
totally
50.
unfair.
It's not unfair. It's testing your resolve and your ingenuity.
It's a Western partner.
Who's the good, who's the bad, and
Well, we know
Oh, you see it.
But before we cowboys can do anything, the prospectors need to move in and start smashing up the steps. And in their place, they're putting in a sloping path.
We've had to retain a lot of the soil back using these wooden poles, which is great because it's not only functional, but aesthetically it fits in with our ranch and rustic theme.
Halfway up the garden, the slab for Francis's bar area is going down. Meanwhile, she's gone to the pub. All in the name of research, of course. She's arranged to meet Andrew's best mates. Pete, Rich and Cudge, to find out more about the friend they call Drakey.
As kids, we were always playing on the farm. We were always outdoors. Just farm life, spending time in the bales of hay. It was a wonderful childhood, and it wouldn't have been much of a childhood without Drakey.
He's awesome. He's life and soul of the pie. The times where he's been in hospital, he won't ever admit just how much pain he's going through. And so he just fights his own little battle all the time.
Okay. So my idea is I want to create a really special outdoor bar in the garden.
Yeah, he'll love it. Love that. Yeah.
Good. If you were making a really personal thing for them, what would you put in a bar?
Cider.
Yeah.
Proper West Country cider. Okay.
While Francis makes friends, in Duntish we've hit a snag. By creating a path the length of the plot, David and the boys have fixed one problem, but created another.
Now we're taking up so much soil and dumping it in a mound at the back, and it's getting bigger and bigger.
What are we going to do with 10 tons of spoil? I challenged the team to help me bring the spirit of the Wild West to a plot in Dorset, and we're really pushing the boat out. David and the boys have used more than 24 stakes to secure the lower half of the garden path, and are now replacing the old broken fence with more than 40 metres of hazel hurdles. But our mammoth task is nothing compared to the day-to-day challenges that face the family we're doing it for. Since Andrew was told his cancer was terminal, he and his family are making the most of every day they have together.
They have to be strong. They're amazing. Oh, so proud.
Andrew is determined to embrace every moment. In January this year, he and Rachel got married.
It was one of the most wonderful days of all of our lives.
But his biggest motivation to carry on is 2-year-old Lucas, who, just like his dad, is an energetic free spirit who loves to be outdoors.
Lucas is just a joy. It makes him want to get up every single day.
The most important thing for him is that Rachel and Lucas have happiness to look forward to in the future as well as now, and that's what's important to Andy.
Yeah, go on. I want to create a garden that reflects Andrew's amazing zest for life.
1, 2, 3.
And what could be better for a Dorset lad who loves his cider than an outdoor bar? And Francis has roped in his mates to help her put it together.
This is the pièce de résistance. This roof is going to be really lovely and beginning, hopefully, to look more like a bar.
Okay, it's like
Francis.
Big welcome.
I love it. Everybody's going to want a Western bar in their garden. Can you also look into the relaxation area? Because when he's had a couple in here, you know, you just want to go flop somewhere.
I don't know about you, Aaron. Some people can handle their alcohol. Ooh! We're on it. Don't worry.
Next door, Kate is faced with a different challenge: rejuvenating Andrew's old work shed.
I thought I'd decorate it a bit like Cox.
You've got to be careful because you space them out. It's going to look like a spotty shack.
Yeah, I don't want a spot shack. That is not what I want. I wanted something a bit more sophisticated, and then I'm sick of painting sheds, to be honest, Dave.
Oh, we've had our fair share of painting sheds. You want to hold them up there?
Well, I've got these. Hang on. So maybe
Oh, that's rather nice.
be a case of putting those up and then attaching those to those.
That's great. I like that. And it can screw from there back into these, so you don't see the screw heads.
You are clever. That's why. You can help me.
Yeah, let me help you just by taking these out of the way, right? And then me going away.
Dave.
This part of the garden's shaping up,
Cool.
but the top still resembles a landfill site. David, what's happening?
Relax, Alan. It's all in hand. I'm looking for ideas on how we can turn those huge spoils of Earth into something special for Lucas. At Sibton Park Manor House in Suffolk, this swimming pool was originally an old mine hole. What soil they dug out has been mounded up to create a grand sweeping entrance to the pool area, which also protects it from the wind. These curves are very stylish. The only thing is, I'm not looking to build a swimming pool, and my problem's up, not down. Now this is more like it. Here at Brusyard Hall near Woodbridge, tons of spoil left over from landscaping another part of the garden has been built up into 3 levels and then turfed to create this giant spiral mound. I think for Lucas to be on the top of a mound, king of his own castle, looking out and surveying the countryside, I think is brilliant. But I want to try and find something that makes the whole mound that bit more interactive. And it doesn't get more fun than this. Hadley Country Park in Essex is home to the 2012 Olympic mountain biking course. And its star feature is the rabbit hole. You can ride right through the tunnel or over the top of it. This is brilliant.
Fantastic, isn't it?
I really like the tunnel. And what's it made of?
It's high density polyethylene, so basically a plastic pipe. It's a simple construction really, and it's absolutely fantastic for kids or for grown-ups, and I can see the smile on your face. You're clearly enjoying it.
It's brilliant because it brings out the child in all of us. I think I've got it. You see, I like the mound, I like the sculpturing, I like the tunnel, and hopefully so will Lucas.
Here in Duntish, I've made a start on my family seating area. This central area here, a stone's throw away from the bar, is where I want to make the entertaining area. Matt's just marking this out because what I want to do is a central fire pit, but no ordinary fire pit, a very special fire pit. Seats all the way around, and some radiating rather like rays from the sun. This is a big garden, and I think a good bit of space in between them will just open the whole thing up, and that then becomes my central focal point, doesn't it, Matt? You'll have to wait and see what's coming in the middle of my feature. But in the meantime, here's how I'm hoping to transform this rugged Dorset plot. David and the boys are putting in a new path which will take Andrew and his family safely from the back door, past Francis's saloon bar and Katie's upcycled shed, to my seating area in the middle, before ending at Lucas's new play area. And to link it all together, we'll fill it with swathes of prairie planting. But with all the structures far from finished,
Nice one, guys.
it's taking forever. And things are about to get a bit more complicated.
Here it comes.
David's answer to Lucas's play area has arrived.
Right, that's it. This is my idea for Lucas. This is a giant drain pipe, and it's going to double up as a fantastic tunnel for him to run through.
The boys are using the spoil to anchor it in position and create slopes on either side. But it's the biggest feature we've ever attempted. David, I really hope you know what you're doing.
Oh, this is coming on a treat. It's like a little hobbit hole, and with the kind help of Tinky Winky, Lala, and Po over here, we'll have it cracked in no time.
In the middle of the garden, I'm keen to see what's happening with the shed. Katie,
Hello.
so
we smartening this up a bit?
Yes, with these, they're going to go vertically down here, kind of semi-clad, if you like.
The problem is, this is neither completely faded nor completely pristine. It's got green on it, it's got dark, it's got light.
Please don't say it.
I'm afraid so.
No, I did these so I didn't have to do the P word.
Well, it just looks as though you've stuck these on a really tatty shed to try and hide it. This needs staining, doesn't it? Bit of paint.
While Katie reaches once again for her paintbrush. At the top of the garden, the next stage of David's tractor tunnel is underway. The boys are using cut-down stakes to give it a frontier-style entrance. Not only does this keep the soil in place, it'll also create a barrier to keep Lucas safe when he's on top.
Plus we put a good framework at the back, so we can move the soil towards this, and it acts as a really good retaining wall.
But it's all a bit adventure playground rather than frontier garden at the moment. So while the boys carry on painting, Katie's adding some colour.
Now the look I'm trying to achieve in this bed is a style of planting called prairie planting, and it originates from the American plains. And really it's about trying to replicate nature, big kind of sweeping swathes of the same plant with lots of grasses.
So to get that wild prairie style, Katie's chosen informal daisy-like flowers, like the striking Echinacea powwow, and this more delicate Anthemis.
And the wonderful thing about using them here is they create a gorgeous transition right from the garden out into the open countryside.
This kind of planting's also useful when you've the wires of a ruddy-great telegraph pole to contend with.
Now I'm using these calamagrostis to try and hide the telegraph wires. We're not allowed to move them, so it's just a matter of disguising them. And calamagrostis is excellent for creating screens. Plant them in big lines and they come up and sway wonderfully.
While the men carry on building the saloon,
Alan, Francis, I have something to show you.
Francis has had an idea for her relaxation area.
It's a bed.
Yes.
What are you going to do with
It's
it?
going to hang and be like a swinging daybed.
It weighs a ton.
We're creating a homespun idyll for the Drake family in the Dorset countryside. And at this rate, we'll be able to see the entire county from the top of David's mound.
David, this is epic. It's
I can
enormous.
see you at the top there.
It really is. What's going to happen with all this earth?
Well, along here we're going to turf all of this to bind it all together as well, so we can run up and have a little play around.
What if we put a slide down that bit there, so you could go through the tunnel, come round, and then...
I'll have to get a proper slide if we're going to do that, and actually try and sink it into the ground here.
Use your ingenuity. Okay.
Thank you.
Further down the garden, Frances is ploughing ahead with her plan for a raised bed, which is actually going to be a raised bed.
What we're making here is the framework that's going to support our suspended bed.
A brand new daybed can cost thousands, so she's doing it herself, with little help. She's strengthened and weatherproofed her second-hand frame. All it needs now is some elevation.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's what you do, just putting curtains around the outside.
It's going to hang.
You're winding me up.
No, so the rope comes down here, round the bottom of the bed, and another mega
You are
knot.
deadly serious, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're not bell ringing. Give it a pull. Swinging bed.
It's
got a bit awkward here, haven't it?
What are you doing?
Oh, don't ask.
Do you want a hand?
So if you sit on it, you can tell us when it's level.
Okay. You can hold me. Oh, it's nice. Oh, no, not too high. I don't like it too. Ah! I don't know how I'd feel after a couple of shandies on it, though. I'll just stay here now.
You're not checking the levels there, Katie, see?
I am. It's level.
No, it's not.
It's absolutely perfect.
Hold on a minute, let's just get that on there. Have a look at the bubble.
Yeah, she's not level.
No, it's the nose. It's a little bit too... Now you're in
Sleeping on the job.
There were 3 in the bed, the little one said.
Get out here on some planting. Time for a bit more action and a little less relaxing, I think. It's standing room only at the bar at the moment, so Francis is taking care of the seating arrangements.
I have an idea, and that's to turn each one of these into a bar stool. It kind of looks like one, and it'll be perfect in Drakey's bar.
But those lids don't look comfy, so she's replacing them with something a little kinder on the derriere.
There we go. Almost circular.
A plywood base and a double layer of foam takes care of the comfort factor.
Now, to cover my cushions, I've got some waterproof tablecloth that you can pick up anywhere quite cheaply and buy by the metre. Sort of gingham, goes in with that homesteady vibe. I'm just going to cut a circle and then tack it on the back with some pins.
And by adding a wood batten to secure it to the churn, Andrew and Rachel get some cool stools with a homestead feel. At the other end of the garden, there's no sign of my slide, because David's on to his next surprise for Lucas.
Oh yeah. Meep, meep.
Oh, lovely. What is it? While the team battles on, I've escaped to meet up with Rachel in a hotel in nearby Sherburn. I want to know more about how this young family have coped since Andrew's diagnosis.
This garden specialty, why are we here?
I used to work here, and then last December, Andrew and I very quickly decided we wanted to get married, and we couldn't think of anywhere better than coming back here where we knew all the staff, and it was a very quiet wedding. It was absolutely beautiful.
Let's go back to when things sort of started to go awry. What were the first signs with Andrew? What happened?
It started off, he was becoming bloated all the time and all the classic symptoms of being a celiac, and so we kind of assumed maybe
it was wheat intolerance.
It was a wheat intolerance, yeah. I think he was keeping a few other symptoms to himself, and I think as soon as the doctors examined him, they found the lumps straight away.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago now.
You've both had to live with this for a long time.
Yeah. Andrew's incredible. He's stayed positive throughout the whole thing. He's never complained about it. I've never heard him sort of moan about feeling, even when he's on his chemo. He's absolutely incredible. Bless him.
So what are you envisaging will happen?
I've got no idea. I don't really think about it, to be honest. Living with this, it makes you focus on what you have now, and I think it's hard to plan the future when you don't know what's going to happen.
And you've got a little boy to think about.
Exactly, we've got Lucas to think about, our little miracle baby.
What sort of dad is Andrew?
He's an incredible dad. Ever since Lucas was born, he's been really hands-on, just would do anything for Lucas, absolutely anything. And Lucas is a little daddy's boy. He's a proper little mini-me.
What are your happiest times, your happiest moments? What are the moments you treasure?
Having Lucas. Definitely. Sorry.
Because he's the way forward. Yeah. You must be finding reserves in yourself you never imagined were there.
You do. I mean, I'm no stronger than anybody, any other person, but I think put in this kind of situation, you do. You find an inner strength from somewhere and you cope. You just do. If I saw him, I don't know, getting depressed or anything like that, I think that would be really difficult. But he's not. There's not a single day that he's actually been miserable. And, you know, he's living in constant pain at the moment. And he still has a smile on his face. And, I'm so proud of him.
What difference is a garden going to make?
I can't really remember the last time we actually went out as a family for the day or anything like that. So to be able to just escape into the garden and sort of forget about the worries that the house kind of brings, it will just be awesome.
Live life for today, cherishing every moment. It's clear what difference a garden is going to make to them and to Lucas. It's a great privilege to be able to make that difference. Got to get it right. Back in the garden, Katie still has the whole left-hand side to finish. Time to get serious.
Oh wow, it's a meadow in the back of a van. That's amazing. Oh my goodness.
This is floral meadow turf. It can't be rolled on like regular grass, but it's a lot quicker to put down than individual plants.
It's got over 15 species of wildflower in it. I'm going to put it all underneath the apple trees so it should be really natural looking and blend beautifully into that gorgeous landscape beyond. It really does look just as good as I hoped it would. It's really beautiful.
But that's the good news. On Mount Domini, the sliders arrive, but that's as green as it gets. In fact, there's a mountain of turf still to go down, hundreds of plants to plant, tons of gravel to lay, and a bed to be made. At this rate, we'll be lucky to be done by sundown. Here in Dorset, our frontier-style garden is still miles from being finished. My seating area might be coming along, but it's lacking a bit of colour. So I've had the boys hollow out some spare logs to make planters. Log troughs here, picking up the theme, with fragrant pinks in them. And alongside them, delicate petunias. Oh, strawberries and cream, lovely. Next door, Frances has a trickier puzzle to solve. She's trying to make her bed feel a part of the garden, using climbing Trochilospermum, soft Buddleia, and Cosmos.
You have a post, you put a primer on, it's very ordinary.
Well, I prefer, if you have your Trochilosperms as you've done now, at the back, and then slightly lower at the front, so it's sort of presenting the bed like that rather than it being too in your face. I do that, it's nice and soft from you, listening your post come out.
And then the butterflies will come in.
They will. Oh, it's idyllic, isn't it? Absolutely idyllic.
Over the Deadwood stages are rolling on over the plain.
The diggers may be long gone, but David's leaving a special vehicle behind for Lucas.
Keep going.
Only this one doesn't run on petrol.
There we go, flex it up a bit. Alright. That's it now. Turn down. You alright? Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Go. Right. Brilliant. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, watch your feet.
Okay. But I can go one better than that. My modern take on a cowboy campfire, if I pop them down, we'll see where they need to go, is almost complete. We'll settle. Yeah. Let's try it out. There's only one thing missing. Guys! Forget fire bowls. This is a fire globe. Look at this. Brings new meaning to the phrase, great balls of fire.
Oh, it's a train. I like it. Choo choo. You need the chimney though.
Yeah, it's going to be a tractor,
Ah,
but, you know...
tractor train. They look pretty similar, don't they?
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Meanwhile, in the middle of the garden, I'm delighted to say that the bar is open.
I'm at the bar. There. Now I commissioned this pub sign especially for the family. Andrew, Rachel and little Lucas, the Drake Inn.
We may have filled this garden with features for all the family, but in the difficult times ahead, I think it's important that Andrew and Rachel have somewhere just for them. And what I want them both to be able to do is to come here, sit here, thank you, and look at the view. Have you seen the view?
It's beautiful.
We may have to clear that.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that's lovely. So we've got their name and their wedding day. Right, let's finish it off. Come on. I've got to hand it to the team. I set them the challenge of bringing the frontier spirit to Duntish, and by golly, they delivered. But if we ever needed motivation, we only had to think of the family we're doing it for. Guys, when I asked you to come and sort out a garden in Dorset, I'm sorry, I had no idea that it covered the entire county. You have made over Dorset in its entirety. 3 guys here, Rich and Pete and Cudge. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much. Happy, guys?
Awesome.
You've never worked harder. I'm proud of you. Thank you very, very much. Let's get them in. See if you like it. Come on.
Yeah.
Before we arrived, this garden was a ghost town. Run down and dilapidated, it offered no refuge for Andrew and Rachel and was dangerous for Lucas to play in. So, with a yippee-yi-yay, we brought the spirit of the West to deepest Dorset. A gentle sloping path snakes through the garden, past rustic hazel fence panels and swathes of Katie's prairie planting, to the Drake Inn, now open for business, serving the landlord's own cider. Next door, family and friends can eat, drink and be merry in my 21st century cowboy camp, and have their cockles warmed by a dramatic fire glow. Andrew can put his feet up in Francis's gently swaying daybed before joining Lucas in his new playground, the perfect place for father and son to be together. For details on how we built this garden, go to itv.com/Alan. Andrew has only recently been discharged from the hospice. Welcome home. Though you may not recognise it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. But nothing was going to stop this brave and determined man from seeing his new garden. I really hope we've done him proud. Need to. And I'm going to say, open your eyes.
Oh my gosh. That is absolutely amazing. Look at the glass jars on the sticks.
Oh baby, look what I spied.
The Drake Inn.
Look at the bell and everything on that.
Oh my
There's
God.
also an inside.
come and look here.
Oh, is that a pizza oven? Oh, awesome. I can't wait, that's going to be brilliant.
The
Dark Pod. We never close. That is about right.
And this is rather spectacular. This is been done just for you. If you go round, you'll see, there's the three of you here.
Yeah, I see that.
And there's cattle and sheep on the other side for you.
That's brilliant.
And a tractor for Lucas.
Oh my God, Alan, this is absolutely brilliant. There's the bed.
The bed in the garden.
The suede as well. Oh, that is crazy. That is absolutely brilliant.
Well, you can sleep out tonight if you want.
Literally can sleep out in the garden. That's so cool.
Oh my God. Lucas's tractor.
As we go, yeah, you see we've got Lucas's tractor trailer.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. Here's Lucas's tractor.
There's Lucas on it. Oh, that is brilliant.
And what he does there...
baby. It is amazing.
It is.
Yeah,
that's right. We're going to go round here because we thought you needed something to sit.
Right. Oh, that's lovely.
Like a bit of a...
28th of January.
Oh, 2015.
So much thought into it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Oh, he's got his own little slide.
You can see what he's
Wait
doing.
to see his little face.
Oh, it is just out of my wildest dreams. I could never have thought of this at all. It's absolutely amazing, Alan. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, there's one person who needs to see it, isn't there?
Exactly, the little Lucas.
So we let him out.
We've got to get him out.
We let him loose.
Yeah, definitely. Off he goes. Come on then, Daddy will be able to catch you. Come on then. I got you.
Wow. Isn't it cool? He's got a slide.
Yeah, snake. Oh, beautiful.
Very welcome. Very welcome. I thought that top of the top sat there.
Until today, Rachel and Andrew couldn't really come any further than the French doors at the back of their house. You could see the end of their garden. It's an awful long time to get up there. Hopefully, we've opened up not just a garden, but a whole new world, which will give them and the time they have together as a family some great respite and some really fun times. Till the next time on Love Your Garden. Bye-bye.
Oh, he's coming now.
Well, this is us enjoying our beautiful garden, Mr. Titmarsh and the team. Hopefully there'll be lots more lovely days and evenings we can get the lovely fire pit going.
It's more than what we could ever have imagined, so thank you.
Well, the heat is on over on ITV2 now in Hell's Kitchen. Next year on ITV, what happens when your other half takes the kids? Abducted investigates. And later at 10:40, the UEFA Super Cup highlights.